Hey, this is Dave.
I'm Sam Angelo.
This is Family Shop Talk today. We're going to talk about relationships when it comes to divorces.
Episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1 of parents that can't get along because it hurts the child. It hurts when they get older. It hurts their children beyond what you wouldn't believe. Just because you can't get along with your spouse, you're hurting everyone around you. You agree, Sal?
I totally agree. And it's not just, kind of take off from here a little bit, but it's just a matter of pride. That's why you see, you could be Selena Barnes and you're at a multi-million-dollar firm, and just the amount of pride that gets in the way from people having a successful relationship or a business. It's the reason why it's one of the 7 deadly sins,
Yeah, there's a course that they try and get parents to take. It's called Coparenting. And it's a really good book. It's done through the Catholic Charities, and they actually, here in Lockport, they'll actually send parents to take this course, and a lot of them don't even go. And it basically shows and proves the point that if you're spiteful in your marriage and holding a grudge against your spouse, and you do it in front of the children, you are hurting the children irreparably. There's kids that go to drugs because their parents never get along. And just to prove how effective good parents are, I've had customers in their 30s, 40s, 50s come to me and say, Dave, I never knew my parents even got divorced. It's like, what? He goes, yeah, they got divorced when I was like 20. And one parent, I think they were like 15 years old. It's like, how do you know? I said, well, they didn't treat it like a divorce. They knew the children were the most important. So what they did is say, hey, dad's moving over there. I'm going to be living over here. And once in a while I go to dad's, and we'll be, there's no big deal. And they just lived their life that way. They went to parties together, Christmases together, everything. Because your children are the most important. I was just talking to somebody working at a restaurant recently, and their child's going to have a baby, and yet they have to do 2 parties, because one for her mother and one for her father, because they can't get along. It's like, come on, grow up. Yeah. It's like you're hurting everyone around you.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think it's a maturity issue on both parts. In the Jewish faith, if you ever followed PragerU, Candace Owens is one of their biggest stars, but they preach that you don't become a man until you get married. And how many people are having children today out of wedlock? It's not. I don't frown upon people who do so, but I think you're more likely to, you're going to have dysfunction in the family of not being married than you are married.
Yeah, the divorce and the separation is hard enough. You can't. It's priceless to have a mother and father home. My parents got divorced when I was 9 years old.
Yeah, but the family tree now, it no longer exists. It's like a shrub. It's like an arborvitae, because there's a million leaves everywhere. And most of the time today now, the grandparents are raising children because their kids are too irresponsible to handle the responsibility of being a parent. So you see that a lot now. I can't tell you how many people I know. It's like, one in particular who lives very close to me, they're raising their 3 kids of their daughters because she's too busy trying to be 17. She just hasn't grown up yet. But it's kind of alarming, and really I want to know why. Why are we more mature than ever?
As in single parenting?
Why is there more singles in general? You know what I mean? It's like, I would say, I remember my parents growing up, and at my age, if I was 9, they would have been 36, 37. And to me, they still seem like they were like 60. And now I look at a 35, 36, 37-year-old, it seems like they're like 25. I don't know why the physical age seems like it's different now. I don't know what I deal with people my age, and I still feel like they're in high school.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it too. Your kids are way more immature now. Earlier on, you kind of grew up quicker. You had to make a living sooner, and now kids are being pampered so much. I'll have 35-year-old people coming in, their parents are still paying for their auto repair bill. Yeah. It's like, come on. I wish, my dad never bought me my first car. I had to work and do it myself. I think there's a lot of that coddling going on. You have to wake up as a parent too. But in regards to the co-parenting, is probably the most important. There's more single families out there than ever before. I think, people, males and females, are doing the monkey branching thing. They think there's something better, and they swing from one relationship to the next, thinking there's a better relationship coming in the future. You got to think about it. You made that child, you stick together, and you work it out. Because that child will suffer more than anything else.
And a good stat I heard, actually, on the Bill Lacey show on 104.1, he says that 1 in 3 men before the age of 31 will be divorced. And you made a point there. They monkey branch, you swing. Because what's exciting? Social media, TV, music, everything is throwaway now. It's new. It's what's exciting for me for a week, and then we throw it away, and then there's something new. Or this person gives me attention. You can't stay with anything steady. I mean, the Beatles have been around for 60 years, but a song that came out 3 months ago, you don't even remember now. Because it's just a throwaway society. It's about what excites you for today. And nothing can be... There's no hard work anymore. I feel like that work ethic is gone. So when it comes to working in a relationship, you need that dedication that you're going to stick it out and see it through. And it's like, no, we're going to sit and argue, and I'm going to go sleep on the couch, but I'm going to go on Facebook and see who else is available tonight. There's that's another, I think, aspect of what this whole societal throwaway, something new, what excites me for today kind of.
Yeah, one guy came in, and he was a sales guy, came in, he was telling me, I got to get divorced. He started talking personal stuff with me. It's like, why? And you start going through a list of things. It's like, is that all? Yeah. I said, seriously, you're going to walk away from a 3 and a 5-year-old because you're not happy with these little things? I said, do you realize where the divorce is going to lead you to? First, they're going to take all your money. They're going to, most likely, you're going to have 2 separate incomes because you have 2 separate homes to support. So it's going to cost you double the amount of money. It's going to hurt the kids irreparably. So, the best advice anybody is a perfect relationship is working with your differences. It doesn't matter how green the grass looks on the other side, but guess what? You're living in this system already. If you're married or just living together with the children, it's priceless to stay together. And it's just, there's so much spite out there between some of these parents. You got to wake up, and and bad parents got to be held accountable too. So you need to start talking about it. If you know, and you got direct evidence of someone being spiteful, call them out on it. If you got evidence of record it, call them out on it. We need to make these people accountable too, because that'll make them grow up. If you got specific evidence of a video, show them how spiteful they, hey, we're going to show this to people and make them a little more accountable for their actions. It's kind of aggressive. Oh, don't do that. Put the kids in. Guess what? The kids aren't going to see it. They're too young to be on Facebook to see what's going on half the time. But you know what? Got to start holding these spiteful fathers and spiteful mothers together. I coached soccer for 5 years, and seeing some of these parents going through divorces and arguing in front of the kids. Come on, grow the hell up.
Yeah, but also I think the nuclear family, the dynamic's been it's been obliterated by social media and just society in general when it comes to TV shows that denigrate the father figure. The women are so smart, the men are dumb. But, side note, remember when there were Sunday dinners, all the family, not just your nuclear family, but extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, relatives, grandparents, we all got together and we had Sunday dinner. I mean, that's non-existent no more. You're likely to have Monday night dinner with your kids. I mean, and if that's the case, you're texting them to say to get home because they're upstairs or they're out down the street playing around and they're on their phones. You go to the restaurant. I mean, I see this a lot now, even with friends. They get together and they're all on their phones texting, not even paying attention to the person across the table from them.
Do I do that to yourself?
I do.
I'm sorry,
I know I'm guilty.
Sorry.
I never used to be like that, but I got sucked into it because I run a business. Part of that has to do with, but part of it's recreational too, so I'm at fault. But, we're so distracted in the social media world about what everyone else is doing. We're not paying attention to ourselves or our closest people.
Your life.
And so it's a big deterrent. And that's why I call it it's just a toilet bowl. I want to stay off it as much as possible. Actually, it's funny as I have Facebook here on the screen right now, looking at whatever I'm looking at here. But I'm not on Twitter, and if I frequent YouTube, I'm only using it to watch mechanical learning videos or music, whatever, as I'm working. But it's just old-fashioned values that are no longer existent. And thankfully enough, when you talk to people in their 60s, my friend Bill, or a few others, and they've been married 51 years plus, they argue all the time. But they're just complacent with who they are. I know he's a tough person to deal with, but they come from a tougher background.
Yeah.
And I think this all started around the Depression. And Vince Anello said this. He goes, the kids who grew up during the Depression wanted to give their kids everything because they didn't want them to go through what they had went through. But in reality, you're doing them a disservice because they're not going to be able to experience hard work and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
That's true. The internet's distracting. We want to spoil our kids, but then again, we're so spoiled within ourselves that we think we deserve more from our spouse. And that's where, this topic original, it was about, staying together and not being, if you are splitting up, if there's something you need to do, and definitely, talk to people, get some counseling, because you're going to find out what you're upset about. You shouldn't be upset about it sometimes. I mean, there's some serious issues out there, and then you understand that, okay, we have to go our separate ways. But if you do go your separate ways, don't be these spiteful parents and put the kids in the middle, because they suffer like you wouldn't believe. Like this mother and their grandkids and kids are going to suffer because the parents can't, showing the love, being together, forgiving those.
But children are most likely used as pawns to get back at the
Well, that's
significant
too.
other.
Money, the child support system, it's a total sham. Even though a mother and father have 50-50 rights to the children, people don't realize this too, that the federal government pays the state money when they run through the child support system. So they always give one parent, most likely the mother, more time with the child, so the state can make money from child support system through the federal government. It's a big scam through the Title 40 system. That's another topic in the future I can talk about.
But I look at the new age of a woman and the new age of a man, and I tell you, I don't want to be
What do you mean by new age?
sexist here, but I'm not being sexist at all. I'm just telling you the way it is. There's something going on in the feminine society. There's this new age thinking of it's all about me. And the funny thing is, you see more men now grocery shopping, changing the kids' diaper, taking them to and from school or whatever school function or sporting event. The fathers are more involved than ever, and I feel like it's just the women are a little bit more difficult. This is probably around, I would say, age 37, 38 and younger. And you're seeing more women. It used to be the men who ran away. Now the women have no problem signing off the rights on their kids and just going off and living with some other guy. That was never even the case. It's a maternal instinct, just like in the wild, for the mothers to be with their children. That's totally been erased, and whether that has to do with feminism, I'm not too sure. But it's certainly alarming. I think there are a lot of men out there too who don't provide or take care of the kids, or deadbeat dads. That'll always be forever. But I don't think it's as much as the way it used to be. You heard stories back in the 70s, their father ran away and abandoned them, and it creates this continuous cycle. Now everyone wants to get divorced, but what example are you setting for your child now that you don't want to work hard at something? Or what do you think is going to happen in their life? They're more likely now to break up in their relationships because of what they experienced growing up. And that's the only thing they know. It's like an abusive father to a child's mother, a son is more likely to repeat that. They call it cycle. And the intention is to break the cycle. And really, you can only do that if you have the intelligence to do so. Dumb people, and they exist, don't break bad habits because they don't learn from their mistakes. And it's a very personal subject to me. Having just gotten out of a relationship that was a little bit toxic and difficult, I would tell you, I was blessed. I had somebody who was a little older than me, but she came from a different background, a different way of living. And I'm kind of cursed now because I'll always go back to the way it was and think that's the way it should be, and know that to find somebody more closer to my age, I'll never find that ever again. Unfortunately, it's just too commonplace in today's world to, and you know what, and I'll be honest with you, you're 54, but I'm starting to see a lot of these women now in their 50s starting to change their tune a little bit. And this me, I, the men and women both with the cell phones, driving down the road, looking at themselves. The rearview mirror doesn't point on their kids or the back window, it's on themselves with the cell phone camera and taking 5-second TikTok videos like you're some model from Los Angeles. You're not. And people.
Why do we see more females doing TikTok videos than men?
Because it's a form of narcissism. It's just people that they think so highly of themselves that they have to put it out there, but nobody's really liking the posts anyways. It's
so it's
feeding that attention.
Society is leading us down this path, and you can fight it, but you have to want to fight it, and you can realize with the children involved. If you don't have children, whatever, go your separate ways, but you're making the children as a victim. You look at, during the civil rights age, we had back in the 60s, you had maybe 20-30% of single black families. Now it's over 75% single black families. And where has that led to crime, violence, drug addiction, and everything else? And that rate is going up with white families too. So you break up that family, there's less less parenting, less sticking together. The kids on average don't do as good. They have issues struggling, especially when you get these females alienating boys and girls from their fathers, and it's way worse. And you get fathers doing the same way, but it tends to be worse on the females. They'll try and alienate the child from the father, with the father is the key aspect in the child's life. And there's a ton of proof to say that father creates that stability. So the minute you're out that door, it's gone, unless you guys can work together. So you're basically sacrificing your children's well-being just because your own self-interest.
And a lot of that, like I referred back to feminism, gender roles exist for a reason. That the father is the father, the mother's the mother. And what everybody's trying to do today is they're trying to switch it around now and say, well, all women can do all what men can do. But that's not true, because not all men can do what other men can do. You're telling me that a guy like me can do the same job as a 6'8" tall, 300-pound bouncer at the club? He can't.
Women can be Marines now. Did you see that? Paris Island. So I want to see these females go through boot camp.
But they want to remove this idea that there's gender roles, but they're there for a reason. And and it has an effect on children, especially boys. Every son needs a father, and every daughter needs a mother. Sons without fathers is probably the worst. Even worse of a combination than a daughter without her mother, because if you don't have that hard-nosed, tough, you know what I mean? Kind of similar to the way my dad is a little bit. I don't know. I don't think I'm anything special, but
no, my dad was tough. You need this, you go do it. You need that. I mean, they wouldn't buy me nothing. I mean, it's just everything was work for myself. I couldn't. You had to pay for my own car. My first car was $100. I had to put a motor in it so I can drive this car. Then thank God I started working on and just making money on the side. But it's like anything else. If you pamper your children, that's another topic. I think we need to talk about it. But it's still recording. But
I just wanted to shut that off there.
But thanks for listening. Comments below. Share us your experiences below. I'll be posting this on Families for Justice on Niagara County. We're here for counseling. We're here for anything to try and get you guys to work things out. I even have, if you do need to go down that path of getting a divorce, contact us. We have other ways to help, because they will suck the blood out of you when it comes to the first thing you want, your financial statements. They want to know what you own, because these attorneys will take all your money. But that's the other thing that you're up against too. But thanks for listening.
Be responsible. Get tough, men and women, both. It's what it takes to make it in this world. It's not about being easy. It's not about everything that feels good. I think everybody wants something that feels good. It comes easy to them. But a relationship, certainly, by all means, is not easy. And there's certain stressors you got to deal with. Husband or a wife works long hours. There's a lot of factors that contribute to, arguments in a relationship. But again, nothing ever came easy. And like our fathers or grandfathers, I would say we have it easier now than ever. Every single convenience at our disposal. Cell phone, dishwasher, whatever you want. Just name it. But yet we're more stressed than ever. I just think we're more weaker as a society than ever. And we just can't handle. You're, to me, one of the most resilient people I know when it comes to stress, and I don't know how you do it. If I'm working on something, I'm like, this guy can
get them guys throwing wrenches across the ground.
I'm that guy. I just don't have the tolerance for stupid BS. But he has such an ability to, you've been through a lot.
Well, you have to let stress. Life is like, God bless, we're healthy. Life's full of stress. You just cope with it and deal with it. If you can't handle it, then you just move on, I guess,
I guess so.
But thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.